Alcoholics Anonymous. So I went back to Alcoholics Anonymous, and it was her and her husband that were my co-sponsors. And within 6 months, her husband got brain cancer, and again, Lisa didn't know how to cope with life. Life on life's terms was not something that I had learned yet, because they'd barely just begun to scratch the surface with me about how to stay sober and get sober, and that I was powerless over alcohol. And so I took that as an opportunity to start getting high. So this is my outside issue story. I'll just keep that brief. That's all I'm going to say, is that I turned to outside issues because my sponsor at the time, who was dying of a brain tumor, said, if you drink because I die, I'm going to come back and haunt you. And like the deceptive alcoholic I am, I was like, okay, I won't drink. And I started to do other things because, again, I couldn't cope with life on life's terms. And I disappeared from the program when he died. I didn't know how to handle grief, and I still hadn't developed a relationship with a higher power, because I thought that, God was supposed to be my genie. I'd ask for something and God was supposed to grant it. And I've since come to understand that that's not how it works. And I'm so grateful that I finally learned that. I've learned how to pray, thanks to Alcoholics Anonymous. I did come back to the program. It took me a year. It took a suicide attempt. That was my rock bottom. When you're faced with the choice of, drinking isn't really working anymore, and my life is a complete wreck, and it's unmanageable, and I'm losing things, my business is failing, and I just don't want to feel this way anymore. I'm alone, I'm living in isolation, and I can't drink because I know I'm an alcoholic, so I'm doing drugs. That's the logical choice I've come to. I decided that maybe it was better just to kill myself. And there was a miracle that interrupted that, and that's a whole other long story, so I'm going to leave that out. But I do see now not coincidences in my life, but I see miracles of divine intervention. Things that I would have sloughed off before, that I now am so grateful that I've had these experiences. So I'm here, I'm sober. I called my buddy who had agreed to sponsor me before, but then when my sponsor was dying of cancer, I had a temporary sponsor. His name was Luke. But of course, I wasn't listening to him. He was telling me things like, maybe you shouldn't date right now. And I'm like, you don't know me. And I'd go out and do what I wanted because he wasn't giving me the answers I wanted. So when I called him on January 1st at 8 in the morning, you'd only call a sober alcoholic at 8 in the morning on January 1st and they'd pick up. And he was like, oh, fancy getting a phone call from you. And I started to cry, and I said, this is what's happened for the last year. This is what I've done. This is what I've been up to. I'm desperate. I need your help. I need to be sober. Will you help me? And he said, are you willing to go to any lengths? I said, yes. And he said, are you willing to follow my suggestions? And again, like an obstinate alcoholic, I said, well, what are we talking about here? What kind of suggestions are you talking about? And he said, are you willing to go to any lengths? So again, just sort of letting me know, like, going to any lengths means you're willing to do some of the things that you don't think you need to do, like follow instructions, like pray. And I said, how do I pray to something that I don't believe in? And he said, I didn't ask you to believe in anything. That's for you to decide what you believe in. But I'm asking you to ask for help. So that's how I started. And that night, he said, find a group, tell me where it is, and I'll meet you there. So at 8 o'clock, he met me at St. Clement's in Toronto. And he went to that meeting with me, and he said, great, this is your home group, you're going to join, go get a service position. Okay. So I did it. That's what he told me to do, and right away I started. I was a few months shy of losing my business and becoming homeless, so I did what he suggested. Those things did happen for a brief period of time, but I kept doing the things that were suggested. I kept showing up. I went to 90 meetings in 90 days. I asked for help every morning from something that I didn't believe in or understand. And at night, I said, thank you for keeping me sober. And repeat. And I had some difficult months and difficult times, but I stayed sober. And I'm sober to this day. It's been It's been a long journey since 2005 to finally string together just over 5 years of sobriety. And without all of you people at this table, without all of you people in Alcoholics Anonymous getting together and sharing your experience, your strength, and your hope, I wouldn't be here today. So with that, I'll close and thank you.